You can finally open the glove box with the touch of one button. There's now an option to search for controls and settings. You can see pictures and reviews of points of interest, control phone calls from the steering wheel. There's a fancy new chime and so much more. First things first, going into the settings menu, go into display and scrolling down, you'll now see there's a new option, text size. So you're able to change the text size from standard to large. You must be in park to do this. So literally tap on large, you'll see a notification pops up saying that the system will need to restart. Press OK, wait for a few seconds for the system to reset. And there we are. So now you can see that all of the text on the main screen on the menu systems and the sub menu systems has now got a larger font. If you want to change it back, just go to display, scroll down to text size, go to standard. Again, you need to be in park because the system will need to do a reset. You now have the option to be able to search for certain settings or controls. Just go to the menu system by pressing the car in the bottom right of the screen, and you'll see right at the top there's a new option, search. You can literally type in whatever it is you're looking for in terms of like the settings or the controls. So for example, if you want to go to Sentry mode, we can just start typing in Sentry and you can see it's already brought it up. And anything to do with Sentry mode has now appeared, and you can literally change all of the settings here without going into the actual Sentry mode option on the actual settings. You have it all here. If you wanted to go to windscreen wipers, just type in windscreen wipers. Everything related to windscreen wipers will come up. It's just an easier way to be able to navigate to a certain control or setting without going through the whole menu system. You're now able to see pictures and reviews of points of interest on the map screen. So if you're nearby a point of interest that you want to look at, you can just move your finger around the map screen and then literally tap on it, or you can use the search box at the top of the screen and go to your favorites or recents, or just search for the place it is. So in my example, it will be my favorite place in the world, which is in my favorites, the Magic Kingdom Park in Florida. If I now click on that, you can see I've got pictures of the park and I've got all of the 201,712 reviews. I'm now able to see that. I'm not sure whether the opening times and stuff was displayed before, so don't quote me that this is a new feature. I don't remember seeing it before. Maybe it is a new feature, but I don't remember seeing it before, so that's now an option if it is. So if I then wanted to select Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin attraction in the park, I could click on that and see pictures of that will come up. And again, the 1,664 reviews, I'm able to see them and just scroll through them and read all of them to my heart's content. You're now able to answer, mute, or end a call using the steering wheel, the left button on the steering wheel. So when a call comes through, you can literally push the left scroll wheel to the left to answer the call. When you're on the call, you can push it to the left again to mute the microphone, or if you want to hang up the call, you can push the left scroll wheel to the right. And talking of scroll wheel, the left scroll wheel can now do so many things. Probably my favorite feature in this update. If you go to the menu settings and go to display, first of all, I don't know why this is being put in display. I feel like this should be put in controls, but that's a conversation for another day. For some reason, it's been put in display. You'll see straight away at the top, you've got a new option, which is scroll wheel function. You have 9 different options to choose from, which will activate when you long press for a few seconds the left scroll wheel, from opening the glove box, turning on the dome lights, activating the camera, saving the dash cam, bringing up the changing the temperature, changing the display brightness. All of those 9 different options for you to select. I've selected the glove box because one thing I did miss was a physical glove box button, so this update is amazing because, yeah, I just didn't like going into the menu system to open the glove box. So now being able to just press one button to open the glove box is just great. If you don't want to select any of these 9 options, that's cool. Just make sure ask each time is ticked. And now when you long press the scroll wheel, you'll see that the little box appears in the bottom right, allowing you to scroll through all the different 9 options. So let's say we wanted to go to brightness, we would then click on brightness, and you're now able to change the brightness with the scroll wheel. And then if we wanted to go back to the previous menu and choose something else, just move the scroll wheel to the left and we can go down to camera and press on that, and that will then bring up the camera app. And then if we want to go back, we can now go down to open glove box, or the dome lights, or defrost, or whatever it is you want, you now have the option. So if you don't want to assign it to one of them, just make sure you tick ask each time, and then this box will appear and allow you to scroll through each time. I love the sounds and the chimes from the Tesla, and now they've added a brand new chime. Anytime you change gear from drive to park to neutral, you get a fancy new noise that sounds a little something like this. Oh, not that, wait for the seatbelt. There we go. So it's great. When it first came, I sat there and I did that for a little bit longer. I don't know, I just love the chime. Sometimes I just put it in reverse just to put it in reverse because I like the sound of the chime. But yeah, if it drives you mad and you don't like the sound of the chime, simply go to the settings menu, go to safety, scroll down to the bottom, and you'll see gear chimes has now appeared, and just turn it off. When the car is parked, you've got the parked car visualization to the right side of the screen. If you're in another country, I guess it's on the left side of the screen, but nevertheless, we all have the visualization of the car on the screen. You now have the option to get your finger and move the car 360 degrees around the screen. Not sure when I would use this, to be honest with you. I guess it might be handy if you want to move the car on the screen around to check if the back windows are open, if they have been opened. Does it show it if they're open? Let me open it. Ah, yeah, there you go. It's showing the back window open. So if you didn't want to move your head to check the window is open, you could just move it around on the screen to check it's open. I guess it does the same with the lights. So if I turn the indicators on, oh yeah, it shows the lights as well. Yeah, not sure when I would use this. I guess if you're parked up and you're bored, it might, you know, pass time for 10-20 seconds, but yeah, just there if you want it. You can now change the speed of the windscreen wipers using the left scroll wheel. This left scroll wheel is the new magic button. I'll keep saying it all day. This is the magic button of the car. So when you press the windscreen wiper button in on the left stalk, usually you would have to change the speed by pressing one of the options on the screen. Now when you press it in, you can push the scroll wheel to the left, and obviously the further down to the left you go, the slower it will go. You can then push it back up to the right to go faster, or bring it back to auto, so you don't have to touch the screen at all, which is really handy if you're in like a really big rainstorm. And this has happened so many times where I wanted to change it and I pressed the wrong one because you're looking at the road and it's so windy and you do it wrong. Now you can just use the scroll wheel. So yeah, thanks scroll wheel. And now the windscreen wipers won't stop, and even though it's not raining. Did I leave it on? Oh, it's because I left it on. I thought I put it on auto. There we go. New label boxes have appeared on new settings or features that have just been updated through the software update. So for example, if I go to the settings menu, go back to safety and scroll down to gear chimes, you can see that a new box has appeared next to gear chimes, which shows you that that is a new feature. I'm a bit confused with this because the search option at the top of the list is new, and that had a new box next to it for a little while, and then that disappeared, but the gear chimes still has a new box next to it. So I don't know, I thought it would does the new box stay until the next update, or does it disappear? I thought they would all disappear at once. I'm just confused because some of the new boxes have disappeared, some of them have stayed since the update, so I don't really know. But anyway, the whole idea of it obviously is to remind you that this is a new setting. So when you do an update, usually there's quite a few things to remember. So when you're scrolling through the setting system, now you'll scroll through and you'll see a new box, remembering that that is in fact a new setting. So yeah. The navigation will now display the distance from your current location to, I love how it's brought the Magic Kingdom Park back up. I mean, I'm 4,341 miles away from the park. Well, I guess this is a great example to use, so we'll leave it on that. So you can now see the distance when you bring up the list. You can now see the distance from your current location to your destination that you're looking for. You can see how long the distance is. So for example, the example I was going to use was the charging. So if you go to the charging tab, you can now see it shows the distance from where you currently are to each of the chargers. Or if you go to your recents tab, you can see the distance from where you have been before to where you currently are now. Just a handy new feature to know without actually having searching and doing all the stuff. The charging screen has had a facelift. I cannot remember what the charge screen used to be. It's only been a couple of days, but I think it had a car there before. I'm not sure, but it definitely looks different. I just can't remember what it was before. All I can pick out from this is the scroll wheel has, well, not the scroll wheel, the scroll line has now got bigger. So I guess they've done that to make it easier and more accurate for you to change the charge limit. But yeah, it's had a facelift. Don't quote me that there was a car there before. I think there was. I'm 95% sure there was, but now there's not. So this is what we've got. Opening the app drawer now shows all available options at the top, and you can now press customize and obviously bring whatever icons you want down to the bottom panel of the screen. When you put the when you put the car into reverse, the reversing camera will now stay on no matter what you press on the screen. So before, what would happen is if you put the car into reverse and then you went on to the menu system and then you went off the menu system, the camera display would disappear, and you would either have to press the camera icon to bring the camera view back up, or you would have to put the car into drive and then put it back into reverse to bring the camera preview up. It's all quite, yeah, it was all quite mad. But now you don't have to do any of that, because no matter what you do, the camera preview of the reversing camera and the side cameras, if that's what you've selected to have up, will now stay up whenever you get out of any settings menu or whatever it is, as long as the car is in reverse. The tyre pressure card has had a facelift, so if we scroll through to that, you can now see that it is now showing the whole car, whereas previously I think it was showing a bird's eye view of the car, which was just kind of cut off. So it's just had a tiny facelift where you can see the whole of the car, which obviously shows you the front and the rear tyre pressure. Oh, and to get to the tyre pressure card, if you didn't know, when you've got the this little card that's currently open on the radio, you see there's 3 little dots above it. That means you can scroll through. So if you go to the next one, it shows you all your current drive, the charging and what you've used, and the OD meter. I don't know how you pronounce it. O meter. I really don't know, but yeah, that meter. And then scrolling all the way to the right brings up the tyre pressure card. The browser has had a new update. It was running on Chrome 102. It's now running on 109. Nothing like visually different about it. I guess it was just behind the scenes bug fixes. Mine was running perfectly fine before, but I guess there was something that needed to be like worked out and changed in the background. But yeah, nothing visually different from what I can see. I don't use the browser that much, but yeah, there's been a slight update to it behind the scenes. We now have the option to choose British, I can't even say it and I'm British, British English. We now have the option to choose British English voice recognition as an option. So weirdly, this is in the settings in display. Again, I don't know why it's in display. It's voice recognition. I understand the touchscreen language, but the voice recognition, I don't know where it would be though, but yeah, I don't know. I guess they've just kept it together because the navigation language is after that as well. But anyway, yeah, British English is now an option to choose for the voice recognition. Before there was quite a few issues with the car recognizing my accent as a British person when I would say certain words. Let me try and think of an example. When I would say, let's say I would say cool mum, it would think sometimes that I was saying cool as in cool, like C-O-O-L rather than C-A-L-L. So that was a little bit of a thing that yeah, in fact it was so bad that I just didn't end up using it, but now it does a good job. So I did test it out earlier and I'll test it out now to show you. Let me hold it. Cool mum, there you go. Perfect. I mean, the phone's not connected right now, so it's not going to call her, luckily, because I think she's sleeping. But yeah, cool mum. British English voice recognition now available through the settings. So the speedometer has now had an update. Speedometer. I don't know how you pronounce it. Is it speedometer or speedometer? Whatever it is, the speed in the top right or top left, depending on where you are, has now had a facelift and is now bold. It's bold, and it has made a difference when I've been driving for the last few days since the update. Like literally, that small change has made so much difference. It would be good if they gave you the option to change the size of it. I do think, and I hope that they'll do that in the future, because right now it's like one size for all. You can't change the size of the speed thing in the top of the screen, but I hope that they will later down the line. But the fact that they've changed it bold now is a great step in the right direction and makes a massive difference. And that is that. Tesla 2023.2. Yeah, and that is that. I'm trying to remember the number of the software thingy, so I've written it down. So I think I'm just going to easily say this and look at this so I don't get it wrong, so no one starts saying I've got the number wrong. 2000, let's start again. And that is that. Tesla 2023.12.1.1.